Men. Welcome to Brook on Ushirikatv. My name is Pastor Kim, your host. Always a pleasure to have you. And from last week, we talked about mental health. We literally went mental. And we had a very wonderful guest, and she's also here with us today. And last week, we discussed some things. We discussed what is mental health, what are the signs of someone who's having mental health issues and depression, and what are the causes of some of these things. And today we are joined by our guest from last week, our guest Marvlin. You can say hi, and thank you again for allowing God to use you to touch the lives of men through Ushirikatv. Unaweza jitambulisha na tuambie about you.
Asante. Thank you so much for having me again. If you see you've been brought back, it means
you are relevant, you have the content.
Yeah, so thank you so much. I count this as a privilege and an honor to also be able to serve and just be here. And as I'm a counselor, my name is Marvlin Mbogwa. I've been a counselor for the last 13 years, professional counseling. That's what I do on a daily basis. So I have done a lot of mental issues with people, walked with them this journey. Yeah, and I'm privileged and I'm very excited to be here.
Thank you, Marvlin. Last week we had quite a number of things, and through the week we've had very positive engagement, Marvlin. And as we said last week, Marvlin is here not just for the show, but even after the show. You can reach out to her, you can talk to her. She is a counselor, she can work with you, she can work with your family on all fronts, grief, addiction, all fronts, even with the children. She is especially doing very well in a church nearby with children, and so that's why we know that she can be of help in case you need more help beyond this. And Marvlin, last time we discussed a number of things, and just to put it back a bit, when you were doing the last week, we talked about a county we had seen where 70 people had committed suicide within a period of less than, I think, a month or two. It was a show on BBC, and we've seen men run to suicide, homicide, and such issues, and they are all mental issues. And so we talked about the causes, and today, I think as we transition, we will talk about how do we get out? How do we get out of these mental issues, and how do we improve our mental health?
Yes. Wow. It's key to know that improving or maintaining a healthy mental health is a personal responsibility. And let me just say this, Pastor Kim. If you have a car, and I know you have one, and it has the best tires, it has full tank, it has gone, it's perfect. Yes. And the engine is dead. Your car is, you and someone who doesn't have one are the same. It doesn't matter how expensive it is. It doesn't matter who made it, whether it was Germany or Japan or whatever. But if that car has a dead engine, it's just there. Now, your mental health is your engine as a human being. And for men, you need to know this, that your mental health, if it is messed up, to be honest, from my experience, I have not heard or I haven't seen. Yes, I know there are people who can come back from depression, but there is no guarantee of any person who went through depression and came back to 100% norm. Yes. So it tends to take you off your radar completely. Yes, you'll come back with medicines and now you become dependent. Another thing I need to add is this. Those dawas that we give for antidepressants and all that, you become dependent on them. Yes. And so without them, you switch off. So this is what I just want to give this as a caution. Let's not take mental health lightly. It is there, it is present. Please, if there is something you can do to avoid yourself to get there, please do. And that's what I've come here to say today, that let's learn to improve our mental health with the simple things that I'll give. And the ones I chose to give are very, as in anyone can do them. They are doable, they are affordable. I'm not going to give you weird things. It's just simple things that when you do them and I do them, we maintain a healthy mental, state. So number one, very easy. And I know I'm talking to men and I respect men. And, talk about your feelings, Pastor Kim. Talk about your feelings.
Not just talk about feelings. Men, we talk. But we don't talk about
Don't talk about, when you're at this moment, don't talk about politics and your children and your...
Actually, it's interesting. Yeah? The show that I'm referring to, the men were called by one of the administrators, and one man said, when we meet here, we talk about politics. We talk about uko mlengo hii, uko mlengo ile, but we don't talk about bibi yangu ni mkali.
Talk about those things when you feel, don't talk about how someone else did this to you, but talk about what that made you feel. I think that's the difference. Come and tell Pastor Kim, what, Pastor Kim, me, I am giving up, Bana. Me, I'm giving up on my marriage. I'm giving up on waiting on a child. We think that's a lady's thing. But it can lead you to depression as a man. I am sick and tired of my mother-in-law. She makes me feel like I'm less. Talk about your feelings. And this doesn't make you less of a man. Doesn't rip you your roles. And just because I told my wife at the workplace, everyone hates me, I'm feeling like I want to give up. Your wife now will see you not like a man. No. Talk about your feelings. It will help. Let me tell you, it is. And then, have you ever realized that when you talk about your feelings, it's not about the person you're telling. It is you removing it from you. And hopefully is that whoever you will tell,
I wanted to get to that.
yes, whoever you will tell will use the information wisely. And even if, Pastor Kim, even if they do not use the information wisely, the point here is talk about it.
I think even as we talk about our feelings, I think men, we fear, anything and everything you say will be and must be used against you at one time in life. I think we need, as a society and a community, to appreciate when men open up.
Yes.
And even wives and family, when they tell you by the way, I feel like I don't say, see, I told you, nilijua tu where you are a failure. I think that is what has been holding men. Whom do men talk to? Whom do you go to?
Let me tell you. Let me just charge with some small authority I have. Men, talk about it. Honestly. Find Marvlin. Find Pastor Kim. Find the watchman of your court. Find the cleaner of your office and just say, I am feeling like this. Do you know there are people who I have handled who will just say, I wish they just said. I wish they just said they are living a lie. We would have said, now where do we start? Can we correct this? But because it was too much, they felt if I say, how will they see me? Because of that thing you talked about last week called ego. And you're thinking, let me protect my ego. But you're killing even this ego.
And sometimes there's no coming back from suicide. There's no, the dead tell no tales. Exactly. When you're dead, you're dead. Yes. So before you get there, talk about it.
So I always tell my survivors, when you want to commit suicide, you are the only one dying. We remain, yes, with the trauma and all this, but we remain. Exactly. So you're not solving. So talk about your feelings. It doesn't matter what will happen. You talk about it. Yes, just talk about it. Number 2, exercise.
Wow. Men staying at the remote whole day, whole night. It's interesting that we were talking 2 weeks ago about mind and lifestyle, and we were in a certain gym fitness center in Buruburu. And now we are talking about how fitness, how exercise connects with mental health.
When you're running, you have to coordinate. You have to tell your body, let's keep on going. I feel like I'm going to fall. I feel like I'm no, let's keep on going. That produces a chemical in your mind, in your brain, that feeds your inner things. And they, I don't want to make it too medical and complicated, but there's a certain chemical that is produced from that physical exercise that stimulates your energy and your body power. And you will start feeling, I think I'm strong enough. I think I can't give up. When they're telling you the gym, because I've been there a few times before I give up. And when they're telling you the gym, give us 15. On number 8, you're thinking, I'm dying. Wow. But when you have that power, you tell yourself, let me get to 9. Let me get to 10. That's the same way we are living this life. Just tell yourself, let me get to...
give you the same resilience in life.
Let me get to the next month. Let me get to... So physical exercise is very, very key. You don't need to go to a gym because someone is sitting there and thinking, Pastor Kim, I can't even afford rent. How do I go to a gym?
I'm getting depressed because of finances.
You have 20 liters. If you're living here in Eastlands, Umoja especially, you have no water in your house, but you have 20-liter jerry cans. Lift them 50 times every morning. It will do the same thing whoever is going to the gym is doing. If you're living in an estate and you're thinking, where do I run here? Just get out of that estate and run around your house or run on more. There is no excuse to do this. Yes. So
the only thing I would want to ask Mavlin, men, we look into ways of escapism. That's why we talked last time that some people, when they get to depression, they get into drugs as a way of escaping the reality. Sometimes we can use exercises as a way of escape.
Yes. Actually, the excuse here will be because my wife is too noisy. She makes too much noise. I'll come from work late, go to the gym and overdo it, come back home dead tired.
I play golf. Someone told me now we have golf widows.
You even go to golf when it's raining and we are thinking, it's raining, but you're escaping something. Let me tell you this. When you get home, it doesn't get better. Why don't you deal with it? Don't be an ostrich and hide your head in the sand thinking, me, I'm not here. We can really see. We can see the problem. We can see you're draining. We can see you're going down. Even if you're lifting things in the gym. Go to the gym for you, not to run away from it. Then from there, come home and face it and say, okay, I need to do this. Now, these things you don't do one. These things you do all of them. So we are number one, you talk about your feelings. You exercise. Number three, surround yourself with good people. I've not said Christians, by the pastor. I've said good people.
You have toxic Christians.
Exactly. We have people who are good. But the last time they were in a church, it was a burial or a wedding.
You know one thing I like about counselors is that you are real. You are real. As sometimes pastors, Christians, prayerful people, we use that and we don't face things as they are. Do you know, as a pastor, I have seen people who have become more depressed in church because of the way people have handled them in church. Amidst their crisis, marriage imefail, mnamuongelelea. Nini? So, anakuwa even worse. So, it's not just Christians, good people.
I think David was in this situation. One day he failed. And he said, I would rather be in the hands of God than in the hands of men. Because he knew what men could do with. Actually, they wanted to stone him the time they went, blah, blah, blah. You see? So sometimes surround yourself with good men. Now, again, in the same Bible, we know the Bible says that bad company corrupts good morals. Now, you also need to be careful. As much as I'm looking for good people, what is the moral here? What exactly? I want people who will build me. I want people who will not just accommodate my failure and say, you failed, you just, eat meat with us. No, it's to say you failed, but why don't you try this? Why don't you, So get good people who can build you up. That's the essence. And good people is not your wife. Okay, I'm not saying you a bad wife.
Your wife is good.
But I'm just saying outside that world. Exactly. It can be an old man in the farm. Who you pass by before you get to your abusive dad, you pass by him, it's not your uncle, it's nothing. But he can just tell you something and you go home thinking, I think this guy believes in me. Another thing I realized, there is power in believing in someone. And this is now exactly what it means. Good people are people who believe in you. Believing that you are going to make it and you yourself, you're thinking, me now. You think I'll manage. And believing in you and just saying, you know what, you can. Try this. I had this person. Try. Those are good people. Because when you surround yourself with people who drain you, take from you, you're the one who is giving them advice. You're the one who's lending them money. You're the one who's taking them places. You're the one. But when it comes to you, they are busy. They don't have. You should have said yesterday. Those ones are draining you. Surround yourself with good people. Now, good people don't have to be 10. Good people, you don't have to hang around them every day. That's a Ikwange excuse. Hey, they said, I surround myself. So every day, that's not it. A good person, you can even meet twice in a month and just sit over tea and say, you know what, all this month. And it tells you,
It's therapeutic.
Exactly.
It's very therapeutic.
Exactly. And again, let's now go down. Talk about your feelings. When you're with these good people, talk about your feelings. Talk about how you exercise it. It goes together. You're not choosing. I'm not giving you a list. I'm giving you a guideline. So you follow all of them, but in a way that makes sense for you. Another one, don't be afraid to put your needs first.
As a man,
as a Christian man who wants to be like Jesus. You know, someone told me, please stop being Jesus. He already died for the church. You would just live your life trying to be him. So we find this man, he's all over. He's taking care of his uncle, he's taking care of his mother, taking care of his dead brother's children. He's all over until he has no money to buy himself a shirt.
Or even a lunch somewhere he can starve.
Yes. He'll use a shoe until the children tell him, Dad, usikuje kuniona shule. Because when he embarrassed. But he's put your needs first. It is not selfishness. Let's make this right.
We are talking about needs.
I'm not saying once. I'm not saying you go buy yourself car and all that. Number one, wako nje nyumbani. Put, it is okay to know, sitawasaidia this time, nalipia watoto wangu school fees. Sitawasaidia this time, I am taking my kids for 2 days to Mombasa. It is okay to put your needs first. Again, there now, it is the children's need. You as a man, as an individual man, it is okay to go and get shaved in a nice place and pay 500 shillings.
And a head massage at, where were we? Buruburu.
It is okay. There are those days you just want to feel that you are appreciated. Yes.
Wow. There you have it. As we go for the break, I think I have a lot of takeout from here. Exercise, I do golf. So I'll look for good people to go and do golf with. As we talk about things, not siasa, not Azimio, not Hustler Nation, feelings. That's the hardest. The others are a bit easy. But we'll be right back. I know Marvelyn has wealth of experience, wealth of knowledge. And as we come back, we'll talk about some few other ways that we can make ourselves get and improve our mental health and snap out of it and be able to, for the rest of the years ahead of us, that will not get into depression. Quite a warning there that sometimes it's very hard to get back 100%, even with drugs, prayers, medication. So let's take care of our mental health. We'll be right back after this break. This is sbrook. Welcome back to sbrook. We've had a good interlude, some very interesting discussions ongoing. We've started the discussions. We started talking about our feelings, as we've been told by Marvelyn, our guest today. Today we are talking about mental health, and it's from last week we started talking about mental health, and today we are talking about to improve our mental health. And we have Marvelyn. Marvelyn is a counselor. She has a lot of experience, a wealth of knowledge, and she has given us 4 things. Talk about your feelings, exercise, surround yourself with good people, put your needs first, and we continue on how do we improve our mental health. Over to you, Marvelyn. How do we continue to improve? And you've told us that you don't do one.
Yes.
You do all of them. It's a combination.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when we talked about the engine?
Yes.
And I'm sure I know people go for service. Sometimes you need to give your car a break. Do you know the other point is sleep well?
Sleep well.
Don't oversleep. Don't undersleep.
Sleep well for 3 days.
No. Sleep well.
Sleep well.
Do you know it is therapeutic to have timelines for sleep? That every night you sleep at 10 and every morning you wake up at 5. Okay. It makes your brain know this is when we shut down. This is when we rest. Don't sleep today at 10, tomorrow at 3. The next day you didn't sleep. Then the other day you slept at 7. You will mess up your mental health. It has to rest.
What average? How many hours per night?
8 hours. I know we are hardworking Kenyans. We want to sleep for 3 hours.
Someone talked about sleep debt, because sometimes, Marvelyn, you've been there, sometimes you are on high adrenaline, you have deliverables, you have targets, and sometimes even in media stations, sometimes it's quite tough. You have productions to do. So, and can you pack sleep? Like, say, I know Saturday is my off day, Sunday I'll go to church, come back and sleep to try and recover.
Your brain has to sleep on a daily basis. We don't backload sleep. It is daily because it has worked that day. It needs to be given rest. If you want it to function with you for long. Remember, it's the engine.
Yeah.
If you want this engine to run you throughout your life, when it's still healthy, you know, you can still have it, but it's in alcohol, it is, you know, you have to sleep. What you can do is to tell yourself, as much as I have work, then I'll work up to 11, but sleep, wake up at 5. Let it be that time. It helps your brain. Now, this is medical. It helps your brain shut down. Then it knows towards 5, we are waking up and we are high and we are starting. So that we don't have these things of, I'm not a morning person, I'm an evening person. It's because you're messing up your time. You're not a time manager. Well, you're not managing your time well. So we all have 24 hours. And these 24 hours, you must make them work for you as you work in those hours also. So sleep has to be your mind, and your body needs to know, we shut down at this time. We wake up at this time. Sleep well. Yes. Not sleeping on Saturday, you sleep in.
Sleep in.
Yes.
Sleep in. Saturday, Sunday morning.
Evening. And then what have you done with that day? So it doesn't go like that. There is a difference between resting and sleeping. I'm talking about sleeping.
Sleeping. Wow. Okay.
Sleeping is you wake, every night your body has to sleep. Yes. Wow. Very important. Yes.
Oh, that's a new one for men. I think that's a learning point for men. We are always pushing ourselves, and we think the more we are awake and working means more for finances, families, and so we push ourselves without sleeping. But then you can hear someone, hey, manze mi sijalala for the last.
But what are they? You know, let me tell you, you know, if you miss sleep, if you've watched, like a small child, if they wake up before their time was, they get very irritant. You know, adults, we also have the same thing, but now we show it in a different way. We are very aggressive, we are very annoyed, we are very grumpy, we are complaining the whole day just because you didn't have enough sleep. Now, how does that reflect to your production? Still messes it down. Yeah. So now the other thing I forgot to say last week is that some of the signs of depression is insomnia. You lack sleep. The kind of lack of sleep here is you lack sleep in the sense that you will not sleep the whole night, and during the day you're not sleeping. Now that's the difference. Sisemi hii ya kazi where you have worked and then the following day you can't survive on the computer, you're all over. No, that's not insomnia. You can either have that or you can have the opposite where you sleep completely. You wake up, you can't keep yourself awake. Now that can be a sign. And that is why, to rectify that, to have a good, healthy mental life, you need to sleep well. Let your brain know we shut down at 11. We wake up at 5 or even 4. Yes. Yeah.
Wow, a good learning one. Thank you.
The other thing, cut out bad habits. Now, bad habits are not just with sinners. And we know here already we have thought drinking, blah, blah, blah. You know, we have bad habits with men, Christian men, who just eat meat or bad habits, and you know them. Cut them down, because those are the things that tend to make us get to a place where we regret. And let me tell you, most of bad habits waste our time and our resources. Because when you're doing this bad habit, maybe you like, what kind of bad habit can a Christian man have? You know, a spendthrift. They get their money and they buy everything. They come to church. They give even when they were not asked. So you end up, you have no savings. You have no school fees. People think you're kind, but to be honest, it is eating you up. So you get to a point where you feel, what have I done to myself?
You're even living beyond your means.
Exactly, because you want to please people. Another bad habit is being a people pleaser. You know, how will I come to church without that car? So I have to come to church with that car. I have a friend, you know, there was so much pressure of buying cars, and this person has to buy a very expensive car, but maintaining that car is killing them, you know. People pleaser. Those are bad habits, you know. So cut out. Not stop. Cut. You know that there's a difference. Tomorrow it ends today. Cut out bad habits. And sometimes this bad habits also is influenced by our company. That's why we insisted on good people. So that you can have a bad habit of where you go to your friend's place, you take tea up to 1 a.m. Tea. That is, you've made it a habit. So your wife has complained about it. But you're wondering, it's a bad habit.
It's a bad habit.
Exactly.
And sometimes nyingi zina happen usiku.
Yeah.
Watch series, sleep well. Wakati wa kulala enda ulale. Acha kuwatch Man U na nini. Okay, Man U and Man City, let's not get there. Cut out bad habits.
Yes. Take up a new hobby now. Wow. Man U and whatever comes in. You know, you are living, some of us live very sad, boring lives. You know, we are so systematic. We go to work, we come back. We are so, you know, and your life is actually, you feel like life is getting out of you. I love the book of Psalms, and there's a place David was saying, and inside me my bones were rotting. He looked okay, but he was just sick and tired of his situation. And sometimes you are so bored, my God, and you're a brother in the Lord. You come in the
pastor, you know, we have
so systematic.
But they have a testimony on show. After a very long structured life, I got into full-time ministry, and I had to redo my life.
Wow.
And one of the things that I did was take up a new hobby, as we were discussing. It's very interesting. It's a game for money people, but when you get there, you know it's not a game for money people. It's some of the perceptions that I'm not saying that you now start doing Ferrari and all those things, but I think it really rejuvenates you. It really refreshes you.
Exactly. And being in the city, there are so many opportunities. You know, you can be taking your sons or your daughters for you to Karura for riding a bike. You know, you grew up riding a bike. It was fun, but now that exactly. But now you have grown up. You really want to do that, but go to Karura, ride your bike there, be happy. Remember, you know, be that young man you were. As in, adopt or get a new hobby. You know, those things you had a passion for. You wanted to play chess. Now you're wondering, I've grown up, I'm a pastor, so I say chess.
I'll be beaten, I'll not win.
Not even that. Your problem is, how do I get myself doing that? Yet when you think about it, it just makes you happy. Maybe you're a grown man, but your passion was, you know, doing cakes or pastries, or it sounds, you know, but that's a hobby that you do and would make you happy. So can you look for those things?
You do them, they rejuvenate your mind. They relax your mind.
Exactly. That's the word. After all, and you see, life will beat us. Life, you'll go to work, there's this deadline, ulisahau, ama ulishindwa, ama computers really fanya nini. Umesomewa na huyu boss and they are younger than you and you're feeling, what is this? You come home and you forgot to buy what for your wife. She's up. Your daughter is thinking you're not a good dad, you know? And then you just play chess and you get so excited about it. It just makes your life, that is making your mental health healthy. Yes. The last one, Pastor. And I think this is very important. And I'll combine it with the other one we said, do not be afraid to put your needs first. The last one is, give yourself time. In this sense, give yourself time to learn, to relearn. You did this so wrong. Tell yourself, you know what? Let me start all over again. Give yourself time, Pastor, and a man out there, to go back to the drawing board. You might not change the wife, you might not change the children, but go back and ask yourself, okay, these ones are making it. I'm here now. Where do I start? Give yourself time, for heaven's sake. You give your time to your work, you give your time to your family, you give your time, but you have no time for you. Some of you don't even go for a blood. When was the last time you went for a blood pressure test? And I'm not saying we go look for diseases, but I'm just asking.
I'm going this week.
You know, when was the last time your man went for a dental? I'm not talking about when due to after kidney and the rest. Just a dental. Unakuanga tu meno inakuma lakini unajikaza. Hii ni kuharibu pesa. Mimi ni mwanaume.
That's a word of knowledge, by the way.
Exactly. Just go to the dentist. It doesn't give yourself time. Because let me tell you, as I've said, this is the body God gave you to make use of your purpose down here. So if you don't make it work, it will frustrate you. You will go through your purposes and your time of being here, but you'll pay a higher price. But if you do these simple things.
I think on give yourself time, I also get, I'll not say a revelation, but another understanding. To each his own, and it's your race. Run your race. Because sometimes I think we get into depression when we don't give ourselves time to get there, to be where we are supposed to be. Just because rafiki yako amekupita na pikipiki, next week amekupita na gari, and you hata pikipiki hujapata, you're not giving yourself time to be able to achieve that which God
The actually word you're supposed to say here is comparing.
Comparing.
Yes. Oh, we finished high school with them. Not even that. We finished Bible school together. We were ordained. My church still has 12 people. Yours has 300. What is wrong with me? What is it? Then you start feeling, I'm not good enough. I think I wasn't meant for this. I shouldn't have done this. Why? Give yourself time. You don't know how much time this person has given to this. Go to them and learn. Go do the same thing. If it is not working, give yourself time. In this life, it's not about the quantity. It is the quality of anything. The quality of what you eat, the quality of what you do in your family, the quality of all this, not the quantity. It is not, see what I've done. You know, I had a lecturer who used to tell us, don't be that person who says, I have 6 children. And then you stop your statement there. He wanted us to be people who will say, I have 2 sons, a doctor and a lawyer. Quality. Not I have 6 children. All this, you see, all these are my children. What's the quality in this? So that's what I would say, that please, a man, give yourself time. Let me just create a small scenario here. You're a man, you've gotten home, the baby's crying, the house girl is being called. There's too much going on. Do you know you can just get home, change your suit, put on light clothes, and take a walk? And as you walk, thank God we have masks these days. Put on your mask and speak to God and just tell God, you know what? I'm a man. Give me peace. Give me, and just walk around the estate and come back home. It is giving yourself time. It might be 20 minutes, but you'll come back home and whoever is screaming and the other one is,
the baby has slept.
So okay.
And,
Even if they have not slept, that is escapism. You might come back, they are still screaming, but it doesn't agitate.
Because it's from inside.
Yes, because now you live and tell, let me have the baby, and tell the baby what's up. I mean, you will give yourself time. You don't need to snap at everything because you're a man. Yes.
Wow, awesome. Today we were talking about how to improve our mental health with Marvelyn, who is a counselor. We've talk about your feelings as hard as it is, exercise, surround yourself with good people, put your needs first, sleep well, cut out. Kwanza yeye amesema ni cut, si ati ni puta, cut out bad habits. Do what you like, go back to your passions, and lastly, give yourself time. What a show, what a lesson. And I thank God that today we've learned very many things. And I know that by God's grace, Marvelyn, God will help us as men and help us in our mental health. It's a major issue in the police, in the normal society. We are always talking about man and mental issues. And today I thank God that as much as it was a show, God has ministered to us in a very, and yes, Marvelyn is also a trained theologian, so she's not just a counselor. So she was also ministering to us through the word of God and through the lessons that we've learned. And Marvelyn, before we leave, maybe you can give us a parting shot. You can share again your Facebook page, people to like, people to follow, and also your number, just in case someone has listened and would want more details, more information. Maybe you can just say something.
Okay, I would want to finish with this verse in the book of Psalms. I cannot remember where, but it's in the book of Psalms. It says that the Lord is near the broken and the contrite heart. I want to say this to the men. Sometimes life breaks you completely. You get disappointed, you get thrown off. A contrite, the other day I looked at the meaning of the word contrite. Contrite means someone remorseful, someone you can see through what they are saying. Someone can tell you sorry, but you're knowing this is... A contrite person is someone who actually is so vulnerable and says, you know what, I am so sorry, I have messed up. Now, God promises that he's very close to that person. And I would want men who are going through this situation where things are difficult, you're getting into depression, just know there's a promise that now that you're so broken and you have a contrite heart, he's closer to you than before. So don't lose hope. Yes. Even as you do all these things, some of them are so, I would say humiliating or below the belt for a man. That is being contrite when you have to sit down and talk about your feelings. He's closer to you. And so thank you so much, Pastor Kim. I have a Facebook page, but it's personal anyway. There I'm found, I'm called Nyokabi Mbogwa. But you can find me on my phone, 0721 429959. That's my phone, my number. You can call me okay, I don't want to say anytime, but you can call me. I'm on WhatsApp, you can WhatsApp, yeah, so that's me, yes.
Thank you, Marvelin, for coming, and thank you all for watching Brook. We went mental, and my takeout is your mental health. That's your engine. Everything else will not function if the mental health, if your mind, if your emotions, everything that makes up mental health is not working. So let's take care of it. Let's do the things that we've been told. And I assure you, you'll be a better man in the society, in the church, at the workplace, at the home with your children, everywhere. You'll be a better man. Thank you for watching Brook. This is Pastor Kim. Until next time, keep it on Ushirikatv. Asanteni sana.